Both Democrats thought Donald Trump would be serving time in the new year, but today he's on the cover of Time, and he is having a good time. And it's remarkable how much has shifted in just a month since 11/5. 2 years ago, the Time Person of the Year was President Zelensky of Ukraine. Where's he stack up now? 2 years before that, it was Joe and Kamala. And the year before that, it was Greta Thunberg. This year's runner-up, not surprisingly, Kamala Harris, who they all really wanted. So a lot has changed. And we have a contrast happening in America right now that we've never really had before. One president is trying to convince people that the economy is good, while another president is trying to convince the rest of the world that America is open for business, all by ringing a little bell. Take a look. You can hear them chanting USA, USA, USA. That's on the floor of the stock exchange on Wall Street, just a couple blocks from Ground Zero. And I don't think I've heard a chant like that in Lower Manhattan since 9/11. That means something right there. And we haven't seen a U.S. president ring that bell in 40 years.
We're going to turn the bull loose. Pull it back.
They were chanting Ronnie, President Reagan's nickname. What's happening right now in this country can't be understated. Donald Trump, through sheer force of personality, is bringing America back brick by brick. He just invited the president of China, Xi Jinping, to his inauguration next month, a move that's getting very little attention, but is nothing short of brilliant, and I'll tell you why. Remember those videos of Joe Biden? Every time he met publicly with President Xi, Joe always walked to President Xi. Every time, and it was embarrassing, because in Chinese culture, the other person walks to the person who's dominant. In a neutral setting to shake hands, the person that walks to you is submissive and inferior. Sound and look like Joe Biden? Stuff like that matters, especially in China. Joe Biden, Doug Emhoff, Mayor Pete, Alejandro, Tony Blinken, Jake Sullivan, not an alpha in the group. And by inviting President Xi to his inauguration, Donald Trump wins either way. If President Xi says no, Trump wins because he's been the first person to extend the olive branch. But if Xi says yes and travels to Washington, it'll be a huge win for all of us. I've said it before, but it's called peace through Trump. That's what's happening right now. And while Donald Trump projects strength, the U.S. government, which is technically still being run by Joe Biden, I guess, has absolutely no idea why hundreds of car-sized drones are suddenly flying over parts of New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania. And the governor of New Jersey, Phil Murphy, another beta male all the way, says these drones are no threat to Americans. Take a listen.
We don't see any concern for public safety. We had last night 49 sightings. These are apparently very, as I understand it, very sophisticated. The minute you get eyes on them, they go dark.
Oh, really, Phil? What if one of these drones suddenly loses power and lands on someone's house while they're asleep? Are they coming from the North Pole, Phil? Are they coming from an Iranian Boston whaler anchored just off the coast of New Jersey? Because we've been told that. The truth is, and Phil won't admit this, but he has absolutely no idea what's going on over New Jersey airspace. And just like that Chinese spy balloon that made its way across the entirety of the United States before it was finally shot down, the Biden administration is doing what they've done for the last 4 years, and you know this well. The answer is absolutely nothing. And once again, Joe Biden's inept cabinet appointees are making the case for all of Donald Trump's picks through their sheer daily incompetence.
Certainly, I understand why people would be looking at this and being concerned about it. We're concerned about it too, which is why we have the Department of Homeland Security and the FBI. My goodness, looking at this, and we're taking it seriously. We understand that people are concerned. We understand that they got questions. We got questions too, and we're working hard to get the answers to that.
Yeah, John, you guys are supposed to have the answers. We've got the FBI and Homeland Security looking into it. That doesn't make anybody feel better about what's going on. Oh, they've got the FBI and Homeland Security looking into it. Great, John. I'm sure people in New Jersey are going to sleep a lot better knowing that the FBI is on top of it. The same people that raided Mar-a-Lago and lied about the Hunter Biden laptop and didn't investigate cocaine at the White House, they're on top of it. And that's just a total joke. But let me ask you this, and I'm serious here. If Pete Hegseth were Secretary of Defense right now, do you really think that we'd be entering night number 25 in a row of strange drones flying over America? I'll let you decide at home. But where's our Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin? Why aren't we shooting these things down? Who did the media expect Donald Trump to pick for these jobs? Because clearly, the same old, qualified on paper, rank and file fools just aren't cutting it.
Well, America, I hope you like measles.
I don't trust anything that he says because precisely that he'll say anything to be confirmed. When he makes blanket statements like that, it's very clear that he is not qualified.
Yeah, I think she's totally unqualified to be a DNI, and I think her positions put her beyond the outermost fringe of American politics.
This is not only bad for the men and women who run the FBI. This is not only bad for the rule of law. This is not only bad for the First Amendment. This is not only bad for the United States of America. This is bad for Donald Trump.
And I'm just wondering, to all the Republicans that voted to confirm Lloyd Austin 4 years ago, a man that we were all told had all the right credentials for the job, but a guy that in reality has been a complete failure. And I use the word complete deliberately because his failure has been just that. It wasn't partial. His failure has been complete in every sense of the word. The Afghan withdrawal, the war in Ukraine, the attack on Israel, that Chinese spy balloon, and now hundreds of drones. Nobody has any idea where they're coming from, who's running them. They're flying all over U.S. soil. How do these same Republicans that voted for a guy like that, Lloyd Austin, justify not voting for Pete Hegseth? And I'm going to get specific. Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy voted for Lloyd Austin, but he's on the fence about Pete Hegseth. Todd Young of Indiana voted for Lloyd Austin. So did Chuck Grassley, Mitch McConnell, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, and John Cornyn. They all voted for Lloyd Austin, who will go down as the worst SecDef of the century, no question about it. So how do they justify voting against Pete Hegseth? They all voted for Joe Biden's guy. They all lined up to vote for Joe Biden's nominee, a Democrat. And now Republicans have a president-elect who won the popular vote, all 7 battleground states, over 300 electoral votes, and you're going to deny him the cabinet, not that he deserves, the cabinet that the American people voted for. There's a difference. I ask these questions because I'm genuinely wondering, and I think the American people are wondering too. Politico had a piece out yesterday claiming that rhino hunting season is already in full swing, and it makes me wonder, does the Afghan withdrawal happen the same way with Pete Hegseth in charge? Does Russia invade Ukraine with Pete Hegseth in charge? We don't have those answers. I'll let you decide. But clearly, some of these same senators need to be reminded of their votes of Christmas past, or their votes of Christmas future will never happen.